Hello, everyone, and welcome into Post-Show Headlines. I'm Andrew Salciunas with John Kincade, and we have new microphones because apparently we started sounding like crap.
Well, I think we were overmodulating a bit. That could be us getting a little too animated, or maybe the mic sucked.
Could be both.
Could be both.
All right, 5 topics, 2 minutes apiece, then we get the hell out of here.
Liking, subscribing is always a good thing.
I'm so excited for my 2 questions that I had that I didn't even write them down. Like, usually I write them down just to make sure I remember them.
Okay.
I didn't write them down, but you're going to get all 3 to start. So
really?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were brawling with Haley Taylor Simon this morning, not because she has one extra name that she doesn't need. We were arguing the fact is she was starting to quiz Connor on the fact that he was talking about the Flyers. And we were all talking about the Flyers. And she goes, it's driving me crazy. All these people now are going to start talking about the Flyers. She's one of those Gatekeeper fans.
It's horrible.
I can't stand the Gatekeeper segment of this Philly fan base. A lot of it exists around soccer.
Yes, the union. Well, not just the union.
Soccer
in general.
Soccer fans beg for coverage.
Yeah.
Beg, why don't you talk soccer? And then if they hear anybody talk soccer, that soccer talk suck. Nobody knows anything about soccer. Can't have it both ways, folks. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
Like, to me, Gatekeeper fans are the worst. Oh, you're not a big enough Flyers fan. Haley was literally asking trivia questions.
Yeah, she was like offended. And look, I get it. When the Sixers did the process and I went to the games because I was a cosplayer, as you say.
You were a cosplayer.
I did feel a certain way when all of a sudden the building filled up and it was like, oh, I'm a Sixers fan. But I was also 20 years old.
Correct.
I was a child.
You were.
Haley's not a child.
No, she's literally judging it. Dude, can you name me who was traded on this date? And,
that's
who cares?
That's weird. And then Connor and I both said we can do the exact same thing right back to you with the Phillies. Or
we can all gatekeep
Sixers,
with each other.
Eagles.
But why do you want to gatekeep?
I don't understand.
Build a bigger tent for every fan base.
Especially for somebody like Haley who covers the Flyers.
Yes.
Wouldn't you want more views, more eyeballs, all that kind of stuff? But it happens too much. Like the soccer thing is also is a crazy one. Like. When the World Cup comes here,
oh geez,
there's going to be Union fans that are going, oh, now
everybody cares about soccer.
Yeah, I care about international soccer play, country versus country. Like, I love that kind of stuff.
Well, that's comparing that's comparing the World Series to A-ball, honestly.
Yeah.
If you're comparing baseball levels.
I hear you.
There's a difference.
All right, what else?
Hey, yesterday, the Flyers make a great trade.
Yes, they did.
And
are we allowed to talk about it?
Yes, we are allowed to talk
about it.
Oh,
I thought because we didn't talk about it every day.
No, we are allowed to talk about it. Flyers made a great trade yesterday because if Danny Briere or any general manager in the NHL got offered the trade that Danny Briere managed to get Anaheim to agree to, they would have made that trade. So that's a really, really good thing. But do you think the Flyers may be breaking through a little bit? Just a bit?
What do you mean by breaking
like
through?
As far as
getting
people
out of the
getting
rebuild?
Interested, the Mishkov thing last year, they make a trade yesterday.
Oh, you mean the fan base is getting more?
Do you think that maybe they're starting to think it's this doors? I'm gonna close this door. It's a little noisy out there.
Dylan's gonna close the door.
Do you think that there's that maybe they're starting to break through a little bit?
Yeah, I think there was already intrigue last year. I mean, there was enough intrigue to the point where people were upset with coaching decisions. Sure. Now, whether or not the John Tortorella discourse was crazy or not.
Some of it was justified.
The fact that it was being talked about tells you people were starting to pay attention. If nobody was paying attention, nobody cares that he benched Sean Couturier.
How about
right?
this? 7.4%, I believe, non-renewed from last year season tickets. Best they've done in years.
Yeah.
They have the largest season ticket base pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So people are coming back.
Right.
So I'm excited by that.
Yeah, and I think when you make a move like that for a former exciting prospect in the NHL and people realize that right away, they start getting excited, and now you're starting to pair it with the guy that you're going to build the team around. This is the other thing. Michkov's coming up last year so quickly, right? Because we didn't know how long it was going to take.
Sure.
Was it going to take
2 years early?
Right. He came 2 years early. The fact that, to your point, you got that taste and now you realize, all right, this is the guy that they're going to build around. We're going to start finding out via the draft and the trade that they make yesterday. All right, how are they going to build around the guy that you are going to make the focal point of your team? The fact that, like, when the Sixers did the process, people weren't excited for Michael Carter Williams, but when they saw Joel Embiid and you saw what that guy was able to do, kind of the how long are we going to have to wait to see him? And then you finally see him, and then you see how good he is. Then you start seeing how they start adding the pieces around him.
I was very excited for Ben Simmons, too.
Right, me too. But I think that for the Flyers right now, once you got the taste of Michkov, and once you start seeing what they're going to do to build around him, that's going to even add more intrigue to the Flyers.
Is the NBA trying a little too hard to be like the NFL?
What do you mean?
The whole idea of we're trying to make our sport 12 months a year talked about. Because first off, dragging out their season, there's no reason for the NBA season to be ending on June the 23rd.
Right.
It's ridiculous. We're now really pushing up towards the 4th of July. It goes on way too long. And it starts out the third week of October.
Honestly,
they've dragged it out way too long. And then now this whole thing of we now need the NBA draft to be, it's 2 rounds. The NBA draft does not need to be 2 nights. Nobody knows who's in the NBA draft for the vast majority because college basketball has pretty much dropped off the map.
Mm-hmm.
And the NBA draft is populated with players, for the most part, that nobody knows because of the new international factor.
Right.
The NBA is trying so hard to be like, look at us. We have the ability to have it over multiple nights.
I think you got it wrong.
Why?
I think the NBA was already doing this, and then the NFL said, let's be more like that, but we're the NFL, so we're going to really make this work. These trades, like Kevin Durant being traded the day of the NBA Finals, like there were...
See, the NFL bans that, though.
Right.
You can't do that in the NFL.
I get it, but the NFL, the whole 365-day-a-year thing, that was the NBA a couple of years ago. And remember, at one point, the NBA was heading in a great direction, and then the NFL basically started doing the same thing. Christmas Day. It was the NBA on Christmas Day. The NFL said, well, why can't we do that? I think the NBA was already setting an idea of what the NFL wanted to do, and then the NFL is just bigger and better.
See,
and they
I
were
look
able
at
to
the
hit
July
on it more.
1st free agency now in the NBA date being a mirror. They saw the March 1st NFL, and they saw all the buildup of the shows and everything, and then they started to do that. The 2 nights
But
of
the
draft,
rumor, the NBA slop, that was that's already begun.
Yeah, the NBA draft doesn't need to be.
It doesn't need to be 2 days. You're right.
It's ridiculous. Nobody cares about the NBA draft that much.
But here's what they're going to do to try to highlight it. Here's the best player in the NBA. He was drafted in the 2nd round, Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the next?
Oh, they're
going to
try to do that. I guarantee
Day 2 of the NBA draft starts tonight.
Wait a minute.
That's going to be a promo.
They already have that promo, and it's running during General Hospital.
Oh,
are you
no,
serious?
I swear to God, I have no idea.
Are you serious? You did not?
No idea.
That is the exact promo.
I know how these companies work.
That's the exact promo that they're promoting the draft with. They're saying all these guys that were 2nd round picks
I knew it.
Don't miss it this year. They're getting their own night.
Advertising's not that hard.
See?
To me, it's not that hard.
So you could be watching General Hospital and you could still catch some of this.
But I'm not watching General Hospital.
You can if you
I'm
wish.
sorry. Now, speaking of General Hospital, I have 2 questions today.
Sure.
I told you earlier today that yesterday was the 29-year anniversary of something that shaped me. It was when the Nintendo 64 came out.
Okay.
I'm not an avid video game player anymore.
Now the weird thing is that it's strange. It must be the time that it fell. I do not know the Nintendo 64. I know stuff before it,
right?
And I know stuff after it. Being a father,
maybe it was the timing for it.
The timing of it. I just don't know that. Tell me. Tell me a little bit.
Well, I mean,
give me the biggest games off of it, and then I'll go. Okay, I know
Mario 64.
Okay. Well, then there you go.
That the Super Smash Bros. I mean, there's a
is it all the little driving
GoldenEye,
games?
Mario Kart.
Is it all the little driving games? Yeah, it's where everybody had the little wheels.
No, they didn't have the wheels. You use the actual controller.
Okay, because I remember the little steering wheel ones.
Yeah. Worst control. I love that controller, Dylan.
Okay.
Get out of here.
See?
But the N64 then turns into the GameCube and the Wii and the Switch and all.
I love
the Wii. It's all part of the Nintendo
family. We had a Wii. We loved the Wii.
Yeah. So anyways, that shaped me.
Okay.
Like I became a big video game fan and a Mario Universe guy because of it.
Okay.
What is something in your sort of early years that kind of shaped you where you found an interest of this thing forever? Like, I don't know if you started watching General Hospital when you were 5.
No, everybody watched. Do you know that in 1980, when I was in halfway through high school, the 9th grader, General Hospital was the #1 show on television?
Okay.
like it was the number.
So did that shape you? Like you continued watching it all these years, clearly.
I mean, yeah, and then just weirdly enough, getting to know people around it. That shaped it because it was the number one show on TV.
Right.
Everybody, it was an American phenomenon.
Yeah.
But it was a phenomenon that I never gave up.
Right.
And because of my weird work schedule, I never gave it up.
Correct.
You know what? The phenomenon that hooked me was when we were, how about this? The phenomenon that hooked me was the DVR.
Okay.
Was VHS machines, was high school.
Yeah.
The VHS tapes, which then led to the DVR.
Yeah.
Which was the TiVo.
And you're a big recorder guy.
And I had the first TiVo because the arena in Atlanta where the Thrashers played was Phillips Arena. And I got the first edition TiVo,
that's cool.
Which was the digital thing. The first digital recorder ever was by Phillips.
Yeah.
And it was the TiVo. And I got the first generation of it. So people would come over to my house and be like, wait, where's the tape?
Yeah.
Like, there's no tape.
I don't have
They're
tape.
like, no tape? And like,
awesome.
It was like the thing. So I've always been big into being able to, that kind of stuff changed me as far as I don't ever watch live TV.
Right.
So that shaped me as far as I always would record stuff and then watch stuff, plus odd schedules, being in sports and being in.
It's funny that my father-in-law, big sports fan.
Okay.
But I could not live the way he lives. He'll watch the Phillies game after it's over, so he could go through the commercials.
Okay, now here though.
But he won't check. He won't check the score.
Okay, my brother does that.
Okay.
Pop, my brother, does that. But what I do is I rarely start the Phillies. Phillies start 6:40 or whatever. I rarely start watching at 6:40.
Oh, me too, because of the Cooper and bedtime and all that kind
I
of
will
stuff.
start watching at like 7:15, 7:20.
Well, you start from the beginning, and then you can fast forward.
And I can fast forward, and by like the fourth or fifth inning, I've caught up through the commercials. So I'm sorry for the NBC Sports Philadelphia commercials that I don't watch, but I catch up through that.
That's what I have to do with the Eagles, because I do the pregame show.
But I also then have to put my phone down.
Yeah, because if you get a text.
So that way I can't look at the phone. I can't, do that.
Yeah.
So I try to do that because then too, I find the game more enjoyable not having to sit through all the breaks.
Okay. Last one.
Yes.
I had the ultimate compliment, and I wonder where this ranks with other great compliments.
What did your wife tell you?
It wasn't my wife.
Wasn't? Wow.
So yesterday, over the weekend, my neighbors across the street, the Hummels. Their son had his high school graduation party.
Okay.
And we were invited. It was nice. And I was like, hey, is there anything you need? And he needed to borrow one of my big coolers for the drinks, for the guests and all.
Good.
So he returned the cooler yesterday. And as he brought it over, he then said, by the way, I just want to say something. Your yard has been looking great this summer.
How about that?
And, I've been doing the Moyer Indoor-Outdoor,
baby.
We've been telling you guys the story.
Yeah.
And so the fact that my neighbor across the street, now he probably saw when it was bad every day walking to his car, and the fact that he noticed now how great it's looked, he gave me that compliment. And to me, like, after I worked my ass off in the 100-degree heat yesterday, mowing the lawn, weeding, edging, and of course the grass is actually green and alive this year, that's like wow, thanks for noticing. What other compliments like that?
See, now I'm going to tell you one where I've been actually complaining.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly where you're going.
You know where I'm going?
Yes, the facelift.
Well, that was different. No, it's been different. I went to the pool for the first time last week.
Okay.
Now, I'm coming off cancer and coming off and I felt like I looked like absolute crap. But I am somebody who does not believe in, I don't give a damn. So when I was trying to get myself better and everything, I'm like, I'm still going to the pool. I'm still going about my life. So the other day I go to the pool and people are like, oh my God, you look like $1 million.
Yeah.
Look at you. You've been working so hard. And I see you out. I see you hitting the trails every day. I see you doing it. I'm like, working my backside off.
Yeah.
But in a way, the way people say it.
They were saying that you were really fat. You were so fat last year.
Oh my God, you looked so bad.
Right.
I say to Christina, I'm going, do people not realize you're a death's
door? You had very bad health issues.
And I'm like, and the way they say it is, oh, like they think it's not, oh, you look so awful. And now you're looking great.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I would still take it as a compliment.
I understand, but the way they say it, I'm like, shut up.
No, I know, but like I would take it as a compliment.
I understand, but they're like, but I'm like almost like, shut up. Like, you know, it doesn't sound very complimentary. It's like, dude, I wasn't trying to be. I had to take off 28 and a half pounds off my frame.
Yeah.
That was literally inactivity for 18 months. I wasn't allowed to pretty much go out of the house.
But they're complimenting you for doing it.
I understand.
Because not everybody has the willpower to go out there and just go do it.
I understand, but all it took was me going back to being active again.
Yeah.
And doing all the things. That's all it took.
Well, you could have given up.
Given up.
There's people that give up. So it's ultimately a compliment.
When you get people go like, oh my God, you look great. It's like, oh geez. So that means last year they were going, oh my God,
look,
he looks like crap. So there's your example.
But it's ultimately a compliment.
It is. Ultimately it is.
Even though it is stemming from something that wasn't great before, like my lawn.
Like your lawn.
All right.
Thanks to Moyer. We love you guys, though. Like, subscribe.
Yes.
Because if you like and subscribe, we're never going to take offense to that.
And it'll be nice for us in the long run. So please do that. We appreciate it. See you guguys. Hey guys, Andrew Salciunas from Kincade and Salciunas. Thank you for checking out all of our stuff on YouTube. Make sure you click, like, subscribe on everything that you see. And of course, you can see everything from our YouTube feed. Full shows, interviews, when John's being an idiot, which is like 15 times a day. So make sure you check out all of our stuff on YouTube. We appreciate it.